It is still this morning on ITV, bringing us to the Abuja Network Center, where we shall be taking a look at the president broadcast yesterday. As usual with all our presidents, it is incumbent on them to speak to citizens on 1st of October and of course 1st of January, which marks the new year. And President Bola Tinubu did speak to Nigerians yesterday, where he talked about so many things. One of them is the fact that government would take deliberate steps to make food abundance, thereby making it affordable and accessible to Nigerians. How that will be done, the president of course said there is a need for state government, local government chairmen to work with the federal government in livestock, in agriculture, to ensure that the production increases, and of course to also create an opportunity where local manufacturing of drugs will be achieved. You all know that the cost of purchasing drugs has gone up, especially due to the fact that the forex is to an extent not appreciable when it comes to the exchange rate, and that has significantly affected the cost of importation, including drugs. So to do this, I have with me the Executive Director, Certain Leadership Initiative, Sir A.K. Peters. Very good morning and welcome.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here. Happy New Year.
Yeah, I'm sure you followed what the President said yesterday when he greeted Nigerians on the occasion of the New Year 2025. Today is just the second day. So let's get your opening remark on what he gave to Nigerians.
For the first time in a very long time in Nigeria, the presidents of the Federal Republic have felt the pulse of the nation. He has felt the temperature, economic temperature of the nation, and he has decided to start taking steps towards dousing the increasing economic temperature in the country. For me, it is a step in the right direction, because the president didn't speak like a politician. He has started speaking like the father of the nation, the father of the household, who knows that his household is going through a lot of difficulty, especially hunger that is hitting the land. I think I appreciate what the president did yesterday.
Yeah, so for what he has felt, which is the fact that 2024 has a peculiar challenge or challenges which has to do with increase in the cost of living occasioned by limited supply of food items, increase in cost of importation, which is occasioned by the exchange rate. And so he believes that in 2025 there will be increase in production of agriculture, and of course there will be incentive to enhance local manufacturing of drugs. What is the possibility of that?
I want to say again that all these are going to be successful upon one major condition, and that major condition is security. Security is so important and fundamental, and at the center of everything that we seem to have as difficulties and challenges and even problems in Nigeria today. The flag of Nigeria is green, white, green. And from what we were taught in primary school, this represents the arable, very fertile land. Nigeria has fertile arable land across the entire country, from north, south, east, and west. The strength of Nigeria is agriculture. It is a shame that Nigerians will cry of food or talk about food inflation as we are seeing in Nigeria today. Now, I think if the president puts his feet on the ground as he is putting his feet on the ground now, certainly, very, very certainly, there will be better security. And when there is better security, there will be food security, because there will be a remarkable increase in the production of food. As we speak, there are some parts of the country where farmers can't go to farm. Where farmers, before now, used to take permission or pay taxes to some persons who are not state actors for them to be able to go to farm and cultivate the crops that Nigerians would eat. I think if the security issue is handled, the issue of food security will be best handled. Furthermore, just last year, the president separated the Ministry of Agri and created a new Ministry of Livestock Development. That, for me too, is a very welcome development, so that the Ministry of Livestock Development will very importantly and primarily concentrate on issues of livestock, animal husbandry, and all of those issues. Again, if the issues of security are handled, Nigeria has capacity to produce not just dairy products, but so many other products that come from livestock. All these will shore up our food security and reduce the food insecurity that we face in Nigeria. But coming to the crux of your question, which is, how does he intend to bring down the cost and price of all of this? It's not going to be a one-day thing, because if you go to the villages, it is harvest time now. Yam is very cheap in the middle belt where yam is produced. Grains are now very cheap in most of the north where these grains are produced. And so many other things are cheap wherever they are produced. But the cost of transporting them from where they are produced to the markets in the cities and other parts of the country is not cheap. And if that comes with a huge cost, the final cost of buying it or selling it in the market, by the time it gets to the ordinary consumer like you and I in our various households, the price would have, or prices would have gone up. That is indeed what the problem is. But we give God the glory that what the government of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu said they would do, we are seeing a glimpse or glimmer of hope that these things are beginning to come to fruition. Just a few days ago, the Warri refinery came on stream. Last month, or about 2 months ago, the penultimate month, the Port Harcourt refinery came on stream. The Dangote refinery has been producing since August. So we now have 3 major refineries working in Nigeria. There have been this marginal reduction in the price of fuel. I think it's about
insignificant reduction.
Well, that stands to reason. It is also contestable. Significant, insignificant, there is a reduction. Gradually, I think we will get there.
No, you know, there are reductions that will affect the purchasing power.
Yeah, almost immediately.
Yes, almost immediately.
And they are the ones that won't be so significant.
And there are those that despite the fact that what you call reduction has not changed anything, the prices of food items are still the same. The cost of transportation is still the same.
That there will be light at the end of the tunnel. A journey of 1,000 miles begins with the first step. That first step we are beginning to see. And for us, it is cheering news that going forward, things may be better.
Well, that will now be left to citizens to ask, especially on the fact that the pump price was about 200 naira. And
195 naira.
Let's just say about 200 naira, because there are some areas that didn't sell at 190, 194, 195, depending on the location. Those in Sokoto, Maiduguri, Adamawa, where you know that the trucks will take more resources to transport this product to, definitely, you know, put the burden on consumers. But the fact is, now 194, 195, 200 is about 200. and then you have an increment of more than 100%, from 200 to about 540 naira. That's about 300%, increment.
I'm bringing it to the 1,000
and then not
about now.
Not far from that, it moved up to 600 to 900, over 1,000 naira. So if we have that kind of significant increase of about 500% increase, why can't we have the decrease or reduction also in that capacity, also in that neighborhood?
The good news is that, as I said, the refineries have come on stream. We are waiting for Kaduna to come on stream. The good news also is that we are no longer importing, or we will no longer be importing. The good news is that Dangote has capacity to produce so much. Port Harcourt and Warri have capacity to produce. And when Kaduna comes on stream, all of those things that add to the cost that used to make the landing cost and the selling cost or price of fuel increase are about to crash. And when those things are no longer there, you will see that between now and the end of the first quarter of this year, I am not a prophet, but if I were, I would not be a prophet of doom. And I want to prophesy that the price of fuel will significantly and remarkably drop to about 800 or 700 and something naira before the end of the first quarter. That will still not be
significant. Okay, now let's move on. Yeah, the president is particularly sad with our current inflation, which is put at 34.6%, and he believes that in this year, with what he has already on the ground, it will be reduced to 15%. What is the possibility? Because we come to ask of the possibility, because there are variables to consider when it comes to the issue of inflation.
There are different types of inflation. Unfortunately, the inflation we are experiencing in Nigeria is multi-dimensional. We have demand pull inflation, and we have cost push inflation. The demand pull inflation is a kind of inflation that occurs where there is an excess of money chasing too few goods. Meaning that people have so much resources, so much money in their hands, and the things that money can buy are very few. As a result of that, the available things that money can buy, the prices will go up. Cost push inflation is a situation where there is usually an increase in the cost of production. And we have seen that labor have advocated for an increment in wages. They asked for almost 500,000 naira, and later it came to 250,000 naira, and the government granted them 70,000 naira. Usually, in most parts of the world, in simple economics too, whenever there is an increase in wages and all of that, usually results in what? Cost push inflation. Incidentally, in Nigeria, we are not just facing the demand pull inflation, we are equally facing the cost push inflation. So it is hitting us from what? All angles. How are we going to do this? The economic team of Mr. President, which is led by the Honorable Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister of the Economy, Wale Edun, need to put up their thinking caps and get the best of Nigerians in this area to come to the table to see how we can scale down the cost of things in Nigeria. The major problem in Nigeria today, the major problem that affects every person, every citizen of this country, is inflation. And if a government agency, the National Bureau of Statistics, NBS, as they are acronymed, can come up with their statistics and tell us that it is over 34%. And you know, in a climate where people don't seem to believe government any longer, where people don't think that government tells them all of the truth, where people believe that government tells at best half truth, if not outright lies, A government agency tells us that inflation is 34%. It means, as most Nigerians say, that the inflation rate in Nigeria may be higher than the figures that MBS is giving us. So it is worrisome. And that was why in my opening remarks, I said the president has felt the pulse of the nation. He has heard the cries and the agitations of the people. And now he has voiced it out himself. He has said, I have heard you. I have seen it. I can also feel it. Having done that, recognizing that, accepting that alone, has solved like 30% of the problem.
How?
Yes. They always live in a kind of delusion.
No, how has that,
That's what I'm saying. Those in government live in a kind of delusion where they seem to be insulated from the realities of the country. What the people face, what the people see, what the people feel, and what the people suffer. Those in power who are usually in Aso Rock don't seem to know it, don't seem to see it, don't seem to feel it. And as a result of that, in a lot of their speeches and broadcasts that they make, they don't seem to bring out these basic essential ingredients that affect the Nigerian people. And if a Nigerian president today have come out to say, we know this is how these things are, we know this is what you are going through, I think he is being sincere to himself. The remaining 70% is all about setting out to do the work. Identifying the problem is 30%, meaning that you know there is a problem and that problem needs a solution. So the remaining 70%, which is the most important percent of all of these dynamics, is getting your men to get the job done.
Okay, getting your men to get the job done, we'll continue to watch and see how those men will ensure that this job is done to the extent that food will not be a subject, the price of food will not be a subject matter anywhere. But the president did say that he is setting up a scheme that will make access to credit very, very easy. You understand? So, but we have had, different kinds of credit facilities to farmers. There was a time even a minister wanted to do that by saying that all the farmers need to have phone and all of that. So in this particular one for 2025, giving credit facility to farmers and manufacturers, we're just wondering to what extent will that increase food production, put food on the table, tackle unemployment, and the list is endless.
This is a good strategy, a very good strategy. Only that we are not sure if they have the correct data, the correct register of farmers.
That becomes a problem.
The Federal Ministry of Agric and Food Security has a department called the Federal Department of Cooperatives. The Federal Department of Cooperative has the responsibility of coordinating all agricultural cooperative societies, apex cooperative societies, and they work with the state government to step down what they do at the national level to the state level. Most of these cooperative societies reside in the states and in the local government. The federal government may not be able to attend to those ones that have the national outlook. So the best way that the government can reach out to these farmers is to reach out to farmers who are in cooperative societies. The reason being that, as you said, when these facilities are released, the government may say we are voting this billion of naira for these peoples. Most of that money ends up being embezzled by the bureaucrats, by the civil servants in the system and their collaborators.
So why can't we deal with that?
If we have a good register.
No, what you just mentioned now is such money is consumed by the high and mighty in the society. Why can't
some of it, not all of it?
The same thing we are saying is some of it is consumed by the VIPs. What can be done to block that gap?
Now, if you will let me conclude my thoughts in where I was going, I will take on that issue. You see, if these cooperative societies that have been identified, we have them, the ones that have been registered, not the ones that will be registered now because of this. We have records of these cooperative societies and the membership of these cooperative societies. We have Extension Services Department in the Federal Ministry of Agri and the various state ministries of Agri, who will go down and supervise what they are doing and see that these monies that have been given to them or will be given to them will be properly applied to what they will be doing. That way, the money will reach the hands of the real people. Now, coming back to the challenge of the conduit pipes through which money can be embezzled or siphoned along the line in the public service. The truth is that that is correct. It happens like that in Nigeria. Nigerians believe that if 50% of the budget of Nigeria is actually always put into the right things that were put in the budget, Nigeria would have been much better than it is. But Nigerians believe that only about 20 or 25% of the budget releases goes to the areas where those monies are meant to go to, and that 70 to 75% of the budget, of the monies in the budget, are embezzled. That is the mentality of Nigerians, and it behoves government to prove us wrong or continue proving us right by the kind of a mess we see, where civil servants have become richer than businessmen in Nigeria. Unfortunately, that is the situation. And the only way that can be done is to ensure that the citizenry, the people, you and I, become the police of the society, the police of our environment, the police of our communities, and see and ensure that people who earn 350,000 naira don't live above what their means.
How can that be done? When you give out informations, at times, if you are not careful,
there is a whistleblowing policy of the federal government of Nigeria. And the whistleblowing policy
is the policy working?
Yes. It is even a rule. It is even a law. Right? So it has not been abrogated. It's still enforced. But just that you and I turn a blind eye to it because it concerns my brother, or it concerns your brother, or it concerns my tribesman, or it concerns someone from my religion.
Yeah, but you know, you have seen some civil servants that are richer than businessmen.
They are everywhere.
Did you blow whistle?
We see them. We know them. Right?
Yes.
You know what it means to be a director today. You know what it is. It means to be a permanent secretary today. And we know their salaries are there. We all know how much they take home. And the opulence with which or in which they live, right? The ostentatious living, the luxury, right? The lavish nature of their carriage and all of that clearly shows that it is not what government pays them that they live on.
Have you blew whistle?
That is exactly why we are in a new year, and we'll have to start doing these things now.
Okay, we just hope that we'll continue to identify those people, and those who have the courage to report to the appropriate authorities should do so to save the nation. The president is certain that in 2025 he's going to leave Nigeria with $1 trillion economy. In the face of low production, in the face of instability of power, in the face of unemployment, how are we going to achieve $1 trillion economy?
Nigeria has the capacity to achieve and attain more than 1 trillion economy. I agree. The solid mineral sector is still not properly being harnessed, not properly being tapped. That sector has the capacity of contributing stupendously to the economy of Nigeria. Let's not forget the agriculture we are talking about. Nigeria is one of the largest producers of cocoa. Cocoa is something else in the world today. What of banana? What of so many other agricultural products that we talk about? Now, we have talked about just two sectors. With the peace and security in the oil industry, in the Niger Delta, with the job people like Tantita Security Limited of Chief Government Ipomopolo, Tompolo, and other people are doing pipeline surveillance in the Niger Delta. You can see that the oil daily production output of oil, which was so low, has been up to 1.8 as at December, and by the end of this January, we are sure Nigeria will be hitting 2 million barrels per day. And OPEC gives every member a quota. And for the past 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years, Nigeria has not been able to meet its quota. So by the time Nigeria starts meeting its quota, even though we know we are a highly indebted nation, where most of these monies that will accrue from the sale of oil and all of that will go into servicing and payments of some of these loans. But appreciably too, you will see that it will help shore up Nigeria reserve. Now, Nigerians are very talented, especially in the ICT sector. This is also a sector. That's why the government, the ministry is not just called Ministry of Science, Technology and Innovation. And the Communication Ministry is also added. We have digital economy added to it. Digital economy is raking in so much money for so many countries in the world. Nigerians are gurus in the ICT sector. And I think if we tap this properly, government can make so much money from it. The entertainment industry
with very strong,
equally good.
With very strong internet, facility can work.
Yes.
But it's not strong.
We are building those infrastructures. Right? Even in this budget, some of them are there in the infrastructure that will give rise to all of this. I was talking about the entertainment industry.
Okay, go on.
The entertainment industry is also one industry that for a very long time was neglected. The last PDP government of Goodluck Jonathan revived the entertainment industry and gave it a push. And since then, you see, it's been running. That is an area where young people, talented people can still contribute to the economic development of Nigeria. One good thing Nigeria has going for us, more than so many other countries in Africa and other countries in the world, is the blue economy. You see, countries pray not to be landlocked countries. One of the greatest things that Nigeria has is the Atlantic Ocean. And we can make so much from the blue economy. In 1914, Lord Lugard said the development of Nigeria can be summarized into one word: transportation. There is so much in the blue economy that is yet to be tapped. All we need is the right mix in leadership in these places, and Nigeria will be an El Dorado.
You so much believe that this government is doing well. Why so?
The government is taking the right decisions. Decisions that hitherto had not been taken. The government seemed to have the courage that some governments in the past have not had. The government seemed to be putting the right foot in front to ensure that the Egyptians we see today, we shall see them no more. All Nigeria needs is a direction, a good direction. And if you sustain that over a period of time, things will be good. You see, most of our problems was the fact that we were living beyond and above our means. Nigeria has always been a poor country in terms of definition of worldwide definition, economic definition of poverty. The level of poverty in the world, per capita income and all of that. But you see, we live as though we were a first world nation. We travel out of the shores of this country to different climes, and we see countries that are smaller than Nigeria, or countries that are richer, wealthier, and more developed than Nigeria. The standard of living of the people, how people do their things. And we come back to Nigeria and see the way we live our lives. Today, it has now entered our consciousness that when you wake up or as you are going to bed, you turn off all lights except the guard lights. That's the security lights. In the morning, you turn off the security light, and as you are leaving to work, you turn off your refrigerators and deep freezers and all of those things. It is now come to dawn on us that when you are not in the room and you don't need an air conditioner, you will not need to put on the air conditioner. When it is time for everybody to be in the sitting room during the day, you are not meant to be in the bedroom. The air conditioners in your rooms will be turned off and you use only the one in the sitting room. It is only in the night when you will need to sleep, and all of that. Because a lot of these things were wastages that we were having because we felt we were very rich now. So even the senators, even ministers are beginning to cry.
I must thank you for your time with us on the program this morning. This is where we wrap up the discussion. So much has been said, and we believe those whose responsibility it is to make sure that the country moves, should do so. It has been with Sir A.K. Peters. He is the Executive Director, Certain Leadership Initiative. Thank you for your time.
It's been my pleasure. Happy New Year, ITV.
Yeah, we wish you the same. All right, now we'll take a quick break. When we come back, the program continues.
All right, thank you very much, Joseph, for that wonderful insight with your guest, showing the president's speech and looking at price reduction. But welcome to our Benin Network Studio, where we are going to step into the 2025 importance of cultivating both confidence and a wealth mindset. And of course, this cannot be overemphasized. These attributes are very, very, very essential in developing one's ability. So now from here, we are going to be looking at what we should be getting as far as 2025 is concerned. We have with us in the studio our guest. He's a person of Dr. Caesar Osaheni Iyani. He's the author of the ABC of How to Industrialize Nigeria. He's the CEO, Caesar Iyani Nigeria. He's a seasoned business expert with a wealth of experience in empowering individuals and organizations. He's going to be helping us to unlock and unpack this conversation. Dr. Caesar, thank you very much for calling.
Thank you very much. Thank you for inviting me.
Okay, now you're going first now. Let's begin with this. What does 2025 holds for Nigerians, especially in the midst of this global economic meltdown, narrowing it down to inflation and high cost of living?
Every year we end up coming up with a new program, a new resolution. The problems remain the same. I must tell you first of all that I am not a social critic, because social critics make a lot of noise and solutions. I am a solution provider. I look at Nigeria and I see opportunities. People see Nigeria as a place that is helpless. I see a lot of potentials in Nigeria. And it is up to us. So whether it's 2025, 2026, 2027, or 2023, it doesn't matter, as long as we get our fundamentals right. The problem that we have, I have continued to emphasize this, and it's not sufficient. People think it is corruption. Yes, it's corruption. But the main problem is we did not produce anything.
So we're not a producing nation.
We are a commodity nation. From oil to agricultural products, whether you want to export oil, it's a commodity. You want to export gold, it's a commodity. You want to export